trainer Ben Smith, former bouncer, boxer, bodybuilder, and truly a believer that we all should be happy. We all have the capacity to be happy. And I'm really excited to start this dialogue, this initiative with people that I believe in, who inspire me, who I think have some amazing things to say about happiness. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here with Charlene SanJenko, my partner in so many ways for so many years. And she really inspires me, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say. I kind of know it though. Yeah, so Charlene, what are you up to in the world?
Well, he does know, and I'm pleased to share it with you again. Ben and I have been on a journey together for, oh my goodness, probably over
18 years?
Yeah, close to 18 years. And during that time, I have been passionately working with women in an organization that I've built from scratch called PowHERhouse. And it is a social impact initiative that brings me a whole lot of joy because I'm doing what I feel needs to be done in the world around supporting girls and women to grow up to be strong and believe in themselves and be leaders in their communities and for their country.
So my first question was going to be, what makes you happy? And I can only assume that this is one of the major things that makes you happy. Obviously fulfills you a lot.
Yeah, I think, when I can wake up and create my day the way that I want it to be created, and I feel that I'm living a life with purpose. My currency is impact. So when I can see the fruits of my labor, so to speak, when I can see that actually come to life in the world, and that might just be one woman getting a light bulb moment or going after something that she really wants, typically bigger and bolder than she thinks that she is worthy of, and actually landing that. It brings a whole lot of joy to me, and I guess that's what being a creative entrepreneur is about. You're kind of creating your own path, and that brings me a whole lot of joy.
Well, that brings me to my next question, which was going to be, how has your view and thoughts about happiness changed over time? But yeah, so has this idea with PowHERhouse and your business, has it evolved as your view of happiness has changed? Has it, how have the two gone together as far as your business growing, feeling more passionate in your business, and generally feeling more happy or not?
I think that I have a much more grounded, holistic view of success. And for me, success now boils down to fulfillment and impact, whereas in my 30s, success was very much about drive and ambition and bank accounts and, big contracts. Success, those things can and will come, but that doesn't necessarily breed happiness. If I don't have time to do the things that bring me joy every day, whether that is hanging out with you, hanging out with friends, being creative, hanging out with horses, there's a whole piece of me that would still feel very hollow. So yeah, I think as I'm inching towards the big 5-0, my view of how I measure success.
She's not inching, by the way. She's. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, she's trying not to fall off that tightrope onto the other side of 50. She's struggling, but okay.
I do. I just think that how I measure success and what I'm up to in the world has probably changed. But what I will say is I look back to collages and vision boards that I started in my 30s, and the essence of what I wanted to create then and where my desires were. those still very much are in line. I think they probably have taken a little longer to come to form than I ever thought. But I look back and, you know, the essence of what I desired then, and I made notes about, and we created collages about, that those are coming to life. And I think that's pretty exciting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So you're obviously a super driven, ambitious person, and you said how your thoughts about happiness have evolved over, say, the last 20 years. But what were your views? Do you remember what your views of happiness were when you were even younger than that? Like, why were you such a, like, what drove you to climb the corporate ladder and all those things that were driving you in that first phase of happiness that you were talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what drove that?
You know, it's really interesting because there's a lot of emphasis in the world right now around women and around diversity and inclusion. There's a lot of terms and words and priorities being thrown around out there right now, but really, when we're talking about what was I looking for as a younger woman, you know, to define happiness, it was inclusion. I wanted to feel heard. I wanted to feel respected. I wanted to be seen for my fullest potential. I wanted to feel like I belonged. I wanted to be and be known as the rock star that I knew I could be. And you know, that's almost 2 decades ago when I was a young up and comer. And now there's so much emphasis around how do we make sure our women, you know, we're including our women and that they belong. You know what? Every woman wants the same thing. We just want to feel heard and cherished, and that we belong, that we're respected, that we're loved, that we're worthy, and that we are full of potential. And that's never changed. And that's basically what I do in the world is to recognize, lift up, and appreciate women, and that's never going to change.
Nice, which again brings me to my next question. Do you think people generally, like men, women, whoever, generally are happy or satisfied with their lives, or do you think they're living without that zest and that passion that you're talking about and that fulfillment?
I think generally speaking, and again, this is just my opinion, but I would say, in my opinion, the majority of people aren't fully awake. The majority of people are looking for excuses where they don't have to actually do a deep dive into their own lives, into themselves, into their souls, to actually spend some time to figure out what would make them happy. So we make sure that we're too busy and that every single spare moment of our schedule is full. And if it's not full, then we're on social media and Netflix, so we don't have the time or the space to really just sit and be and really think about who we are in this life, who we want to be known for, why we're here, and the legacy that we want to leave. So, no, I actually don't think the majority of people are happy, but I'm filled with hope because I know that everyone has the potential to be happy, and more initiatives like this one, which I'm so supportive, obviously, of you and of what you want to start a dialogue about. I think the potential is there. There's some great initiatives out there, and I think we just need to start talking about it, bringing more awareness to it, and helping people to connect with just simple things of what they can do in their own lives to become happier, more fulfilled, complete, whole people.
So again, this is quite interesting because we didn't really discuss this beforehand, what we're going to talk about. But again, it leads me to my next question, which you were saying that people are not awake and they're lost and they distract themselves and they get so busy that they don't have to think about things. But my next question, which maybe that answers it, is what do you think holds people back from truly being happy, or experiencing the happiness that really seems like it should be easy and natural to people?
I think we're all born happy. I think we're all born as perfect, amazing little human beings, and there, stuff happens in our lives that causes us at some point in our path to, as we're growing up, stuff happens to us, and some of those things we just stuff down, or it causes different emotions to start to uh, come to be in our lives. And if we don't do the work as adults, and I'm not saying that, I think it's just know where you came from, know what your story is, know what pieces of yourself need to be worked on, and don't be afraid to do the work, because we can get back to that place. There's a Rumi quote that I love. It's, we were all born to be great. We were all born. We just have to remember our greatness. So when we can get around like-minded people, whether that's friends and mentors, coaches, counselors, whoever we need, and whatever modalities make sense for us to participate in, to do what we need to do the work to get back to those amazing little kids, and find the joy. Things that bring me the most joy now are actually very, very similar to the things that brought me a lot of joy as a little girl, 5, 6 years old. Not much has changed. Might have gotten a little taller and a little more mature, but really, I still love to create. I still love to be around people. I still love to be acknowledged for the work that I do. I love music, and I love horses. So you go back to what used to bring you joy, and just remember that.
So on a side note, people, I've lived with her for a long time, and she literally has like notebooks and crayons and little cutout stuff, and she is like a little kid. She's very much the same little girl that I imagined her to be when she was in grade 1, and it's adorable and it's inspiring, and it is awesome. Um, I'm gonna reveal all her secrets now to the world. Like she's just a little kid, a little powerful kid.
So, so can I ask? I would love to ask you a bit of a question. And
Okay, as you know, I'm more of a question asker.
I know you love to ask
I love to-
questions, and not so much
I
to
love to
answer
ask
them.
questions. Yes.
But what I want to do, I mean, is to just chat with you for a moment about the purpose of this initiative. What sparked the interest to do something like this? So, what you've told me is you want to chat with people about this topic of sourcing happiness, and you just want to start a dialogue, and you want people to be inspired or listen, ask questions, in order to just brew and breed and grow and build a culture of happiness, throughout our network, throughout their friends, and then just let that ripple out there. So, yeah, I'm just curious a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about how this sparked up for you, and what you want people to know about this initiative that we're kicking off through, as trainer Ben Smith, and what we're doing here with this.
Well, as you know, I've spent tons of hours upon hours writing and coming up with my book, Killing Goliath, which is not published yet. It's been ready for a long time, but I haven't published it. I'm waiting. I'm still kind of unsure exactly how I want to do it and the format that I want to do that in. But that writing about my own story and reflecting and journaling for literally over 10 years. You know, hundreds of thousands of pages and hours and reflecting, and I know my own story very well through all the writing and reflecting. And I just remember times in my life when I was so lost and so confused and so frustrated and so unsure if I could even make it through another day. And so I had pockets like that, and then I would come out of it and I would be happy and joyful, and then I would lose that and I would be lost again. And so my life, as I've tried to detail in my book, again, Killing Goliath, is it's really been a kind of a roller coaster ride throughout my life of falling on my face, picking myself up, dusting myself off, learning a little bit, and moving on, and learning these lessons and reflecting on these lessons. And then as I have become a very, very grounded, happy person. I mean, the truth is, I mean, I believe I'm one of the happiest people I know. I mean, I'm always excited. I'm always happy. I'm always seeing beauty everywhere, and I'm just happy. I have no worries. I have no stress. I'm just not that person, and I have been like that for, as you know, a long time. But it came through a lot of work, and it came through a lot of reflection, and so I understand where a lot of unhappiness for myself has come from, and now I see it in other people, and I see the triggers of frustration that people go through, and I watch it. So to me, a lot of people's unhappiness is pretty obvious, but it's not for another person to say. It's for the individual themselves to recognize and to be ready to do those things that are required to find that peace of mind and happiness that really is beautiful. I mean, it's an amazing state of being to be able to wake up every day and just be so excited just to be alive, and not to have anything have to happen, and not to have, not to be swayed by the circumstances of life. Like I remember so many times in my own life where I was like a twig on the ocean, where a wave came and I went up, and then the wave crashed and down I went, and then and I think so I watch people. They're like they're like twigs on an ocean, and I don't feel that way. I'm always happy, but only because I've done the work and I have these practices, and I'm disciplined enough to know, okay, these are the things that I need to do to maintain that state. And it's like anything. Once you have a certain level of groundedness, it's very easy to maintain, and it's addictive. You wouldn't want to not maintain. You wouldn't want to not do those things that maintain that. But it is a practice. You have to find those tools, and part of this dialogue is to help people, to talk to people about their tools and what their process was, and discuss this, because we can all be happy, and it's really not that hard. It's just like, I'm all about fitness and the simplicity of fitness. It's not hard to be lean or fit, but it takes certain simple things that you need to do. You need to see the value in doing them. You need to believe in it, and you need to be consistent with it. Mm-hmm. That's really all that's required. And I think in the same way, that's what's required of truly being happy and feeling grounded. So for me, because I know my own struggles with it from the time I was very young. I mean, there were so many times in my life when I was younger, and even in my 20s, where, man, I really didn't think I could go on, and somehow, unbelievably, I've ended up so happy and content. And I just think everybody, if I could do it, anybody can do it. Yeah. And so I really want to, I'm really excited about talking to people about that. It's really my passion in life is there's nothing that's more important to me than just being happy and seeing other people happy and putting a smile on somebody's face and uplifting people. I mean, that's how we can change the world, you know. It's just by, you know, one smile, one act of kindness, and one, you know, inspiring moment at a time, right?
Yeah, yeah, I so believe it, and very proud of you, and I'm very excited for this initiative. And I think we've got some great people that we are pondering, inviting to be
Pondering.
part of this conversation. And I think it's great. You know, it's I know it's not a men only initiative, but I put so much work into building strong women, and I'm really excited to bring some really good men into this conversation and talk about what keeps them going, what motivates them, what makes them happy, and the tools and the experiences, the insights that they have, their stories. So yeah, really proud and really excited.
Thank you very much. As you know, just on the final note, you know I love talking to women, so it's going to be a real struggle to bring the men into the fold here because I love women. I love talking to women. I'm really a woman at heart, but we'll bring the guys in.
I think we should. I think we should. Well, that's great. Well, it's awesome, and that's a wrap for this one. And thank you. Thanks for asking me to be part of your first conversation, and look forward to many, many more.
Thank you so much for helping me start.